What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Block Hash podcast channel. Let's talk crypto. Today, we're going to be talking about the Stellar Lumens XLM chart. I'm not going to wear these headphones. They're not really necessary. Make sure to check out our sponsor, BENFT. They're revolutionizing education using DeFi methods and artificial intelligence. All links in the description below. And if you want to get this chart before it goes out on YouTube, you can get it on Patreon for 2 cups of coffee a month. So check that out. All right, so this chart is depicting XLM on August 22nd. When this goes out, it'll be August 23rd. Now, the key thing to note here is we have experienced a liquidation event in the month of August. As of thus far, we're trying to figure out if we're going to break out of that or if we're going to have more pain and misery going into the fall. So, to give a little context, we have a line of support, not support, but resistance as a former ceiling relative to there. Okay, lines up very well with XLM finding a potential floor here, which is what I'm hoping we actually do. We had a little bit of a green pop and rally in here. We'll make it a little bit more clear. I'm going to go to the 4-hour chart just to show you the price action. We had the SEC FUD before popping out of that in June, and then 13th of July, we had the XRP news shattering expectations of a potential loss, actually getting the win, XRP not being considered a security, reverberating across the industry. And now, back testing this 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Will we continue? What is going to happen to XLM at this point? That's what we're trying to figure out. After back testing very strongly to 11.1, we popped up as high as 13.3. Now pulling back again. The question is, are we going to find some support anywhere in here to show a relative move back to the upside? Or is this pain going to continue in this downtrend, and are we going to see a level? Let's see, where is my brush? Where are you going to see this happen? Okay, ideally we don't see that happen. Ideally we see this happen. We're going to look at the metrics. We're going to see what is likely to occur. I'm just going to give you my honest feedback. I love XLM. I hold XLM. I have a bias towards XLM. Honestly, I do. And I want to see this play out. I think that there's a possibility we do see this play out. It's more of a matter of when at this point. And if we can hold a new trend line upwards, we can hold this. Do we back test further? Do we break out? And we're going to move back to the 1 day just to make this a little bit more clear and look at some indicators. On the MACD, clearly we've seen a sea of red. That red has slowly calmed down after this, puking, okay? But we're still red, okay? This little green pop doesn't really mean anything as of yet. What we need to do is see some green volume come in, some real green volume, to flip this back to bullish sentiment. The good news is the MACD is getting closer to that red line, which means we could flip. When we flip, they're usually drastic. MACD is not usually one to lie, okay? I do think that this is almost over, but we have to really stall out, okay? We back tested here in mid to late July, around the 25th, came up. We formed a top 1, 2, 3 times before collapsing downwards. And now we have to get through this former resistance around 14.5. Okay, we got to climb all the way up there. We also have resistance around 12.8. We stopped out just above 12.8. Not sure if that's a good sign or bad sign. Again, too early. When you zoom out, things are still looking relatively good. We have resistance and actually support areas now, but former resistance is just around the 13-cent mark, which is going to be really hard for us to stay above, as well as around 11.6, 11.7, which we did come all the way through, and just below 11 at 10.8, 10.7. Hopefully we don't come that low. I'd like to see this turn around at some point here, but it's just going to take time. Okay, we don't know how things are actually going to play out. Let's go to the RSI. Check the relative strength index. We got clearly to the oversold point. Trying to flip on that moving average, but we're still not able to quite do so yet. We don't know how today is going to pan out, as well as the rest of this week, but the closer we are to the 30, the more likely we are to see a reverberation back to the upside. So we'll be watching that very closely. We did peak out pretty strongly with this move. This was mostly a news-related event, and then we pulled back and puked. But if we can stay up here, we can stay above this critical area in the 11 cent range, I think we're still good. If we break down below this again, I'm going to be more concerned because I don't want to see us erase all the progress we made. In order to really hold that progress, we need to hold this line. We did initially. And now we could come back down for a second bottom. It's possible. Or we erase this red bar and we continue to the upside. It's wide open right now. The best thing to do is look at this on a much bigger scale, on a week-to-week scale, to give you guys a sense. We had a period of, was this green? I think this was green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 very green weeks for Stellar. Now we've had 3 very red weeks for Stellar. All right, this could continue. It could continue sideways. But on the weekly, we're looking very good. On the weekly, we're doing exactly what we want to see. If we come back to 2020 and we want to find some occurrences that are very similar, this would probably be it. Around August, we had a big run up. We pulled back, erased nearly all of it. Okay, does that sound familiar? And then by the time we got to November, we had the massive rise we were looking for. We could also look at this almost equivalent to what we saw in November and December, just happening a bit earlier. All right, and on a little bit of a smaller scale, but very similar, very strong move. Where this pulled back, almost erased all of these gains, okay, as far back as, 11. Does that sound familiar? Where we're sitting at now, 12? And then drastically moved to the upside in much bigger swings and started a bull cycle. So if we're going to mimic what we saw in December, November of 2020, early here in August, then at any point in time, this could explode to the upside. That is one positive possibility. The good news is we've bottomed and we've, accumulated down here and went through a Wyckoff phase, and where we've gone through all of this. So we're at the end stage of this bear market, in a bull market, about to start a bull market, however you want to, jot it up. We're either repeating August, which could be a possibility, but this was so sharp, it makes me think that maybe we even started what we did in November a lot earlier. Okay? And these should happen on higher time scales. So this could be overdue for a bigger breakout. Same thing back in October. I'm going to zoom into the daily just to give you a little bit more context. Where are we? 2023. Let's go to 2017. Good old 2017. Any similarities? Okay. August is clear out here. We didn't have quite the same activity, but this is where we have similar activity, right? We have nice pop, a breakout out of the trend, and then pullback, and then maybe we matriculate sideways. We could also look at this as possibly being similar, but the biggest consistency is November every single 3 years. We have this massive run to start a bull market. This could be also similar, something to look at. December of 2017, where we have a massive run up. We come back and back test, almost erase all of it, and matriculate sideways before the big move. That's what we're looking at. Something reminiscent to late 2017. to late 2020, all the same things happen. And now here we are. We've come down, gotten beaten down, have had no volume, nothing happening. Then finally we move, looking a lot like one of these two. Almost going to say this is more closely related. But when we have this happen, we have big, big breakouts. So what could this look like? Can we measure this? Yes, we can. We're going to use our price range. Okay, do you see any similarities moving 200%? Kind of. If you want to say getting down, yeah, below 8 cents, you know, there's a lot to argue. It's pretty close. This next run up happens, I'm going to see if I can find a daily one, date range. From this point in time to the next move was about 40 days. So what's 40 days to the next move potentially? Let's zoom back in here. Let's say here, since first breakout, where will 40 days put us? Oh, look at that. Very, very close. On the dot. Look at that. 40 days today. Wow. Okay. So either we have a massive breakout today, or maybe this isn't quite as similar. Maybe we're going to be a couple days off. You know, it's not going to be 100% similar. Let's give it 50 days. All right, let's give it 50 days. And let's say that's what we need to confirm a similar pattern to here in 2020. That's fair. Now, let's consider another possibility. Or maybe it was this that was the breakout. Let's say this was the top of it. Before we got to here, we're looking at before we get the real swing. Shoot. Here we are looking at 96 days. Okay? 96 days. So the other possibility is if we're not looking 50 days out, 96 days. Would be very congruent with mid to late fall. So October 19th, there's a possibility that if we repeat that pattern, we string out quite a while. Okay, this is also happening in August, so it makes a lot of sense. Let's go back to August here for Stellar. See if there's any patterns to note in 2017. So August, let's use my birthday. No. Let's use August 15th. 23rd. August 23rd. 96 days out. 56 days out. No, pretty close. 96 days on the dot to get to November. Okay. Fair enough. Exactly 96 days out. But I want to look at something like this. 43 days it takes for the next big move to occur. 42 days? Okay. Took 42 days after breakout for something big to happen. Let's bring this down. No, zoom back in. Took about 40-something days for something to happen. Seems about right. Okay. So from initial breakout, might be a little bit more accurate. 42 days. 42 days. Are we 42 days in? We are almost 42 days in. So this is potentially our initial breakout to get into a bull market. 42 days in, we have equivalent of 2 more days left. So by Thursday this week, we should have a relative idea. Now, this could be a little bit longer than 42 days, a little bit less, probably not less at this point. But with this back test in mind and the overall trend in direction, yeah, this seems about right. This seems about accurate. I think we need to keep that in mind. Should I leave this up? I think I'll pull this down for now. I think we got enough things here. Anyways, this whole liquidation event happened because of the Fed FUD that occurred. It happened because of the ARK Invest ETF being delayed, and a bunch of liquidation taking place, I think, in the futures markets, filling some gaps here. Like we had a huge gap happen that just completely got filled almost to the bottom. But we bounced back up. So the good news is we have some support around this level in the low 11-cent range. It doesn't seem to want to go lower than that after all this. It could happen. I would just be shocked. Okay, we had another liquidation event happen up here, but this seemed like more of a natural back test. But we didn't hold the steeper trends, so we're looking at it, playing this out long term. The good news is we are in play. And that's the thing to keep in mind with XLM. Now, where do we go? Final thing, potential price prediction. In order to do that, we have to look at the momentum swing from the last time that happened. So we're going to go to our price range. We're just going to grab it from, let's say, bottom here. Okay, there's a possibility of getting 256%, going all the way to 44 cents. Oh, let's put back here. Yeah. Now let's take this and let's match it up. Is this a possible scenario? Does this make sense? This is a massive move if this ever happens. Let's say 42 days in, this happens. All right. You're looking at not 44 cents, but about 43 cents. That's fair enough, right? That's not too outlandish. I mean, it matches up pretty good with this size of a move. Again, that's not necessarily saying that it's going to happen exactly like that, but we are repeating price history to a degree here. It's holding pretty strong. So I don't know if we'll go straight up. It would be amazing if it did. If it went 44 cents, that'd be fantastic. That's a huge win. I think it's more likely, percentage-wise, if we saw us get above 20 cents where we had resistance, if we can find our way above that mark, which I don't think it's just going to march its way up there. I think it's going to have to explode above it to really get momentum going. I'm going to say 25 cents maybe is the next target. If we can get below through 20 cents, we're going to start moving in big chunks, maybe even 30 cents. Let's say 30 cents is the blow off top initially to end the year. Okay? Let's say that happens. And then it's just straight bull action from there heading into 2024. And who knows where it goes. Obviously we want to see it go to all-time highs and break that and go higher. So this isn't outlandish. This isn't something impossible. It's just a matter of volume at this point. Volume and interest. All right. That is my take on XLM and where things are at, looking at price history, looking at the possibilities. Hopefully we hold these levels. Hopefully we can hold sooner than this level and start a trend to the upside. 42 days in is Thursday. If we're going to repeat price history, we might see a big move happen relatively soon. This is all playing out very well according to price history, we had a massive pullback. This looks accurate, exactly like we've seen in the past. Okay, we had the pullback, happened on time. Now we're waiting potential breakout. That could happen on time too. Who knows? There's a lot of good, a lot to look forward to, and I'm very excited about it. So comment your thoughts down below, like the video, share with someone, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for listening and watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. If you have, please subscribe. Appreciate it. You guys are the best. Talk to you tomorrow. Cheers.